And first at 5 tonight, a member of the Alabama Army Reserve is still missing at this hour after participating in a land navigation exercise at Camp Blanding.
Soldier Kalen McLemore has been missing since Wednesday morning, and some of his gear has been found, but not McLemore.
So we are waiting on a press conference right now for an update. That press conference is going to start any minute now. But first, our reporter Bethany Anderson is live at Camp Blanding with the details. Bethany.
That's right, and actually Clay County, they just pulled up in their vehicles. They are in the process of walking over to us right now to give us an update. So I think what I want to do is give them another second to get into position and talk to us. Now, earlier today, we did speak with some locals who live here in the area, and they tell us even though they grew up in these woods, they're still very easy to get lost in. Take a look. Destin Starling has lived near Camp Blanding for more than a decade.
Lakes, woods, dirt roads.
That's why he's not surprised National Guard reservist Kalen McLemore went missing during a training exercise Wednesday.
The terrain out there in Blanding goes on for miles, and it's very possible to get lost.
And while the terrain might look flat, it can be dangerous to navigate through.
There's lots of holes and woods and like 40-something lakes.
Starling spends a lot of time in the woods. He says recent temperatures could make conditions dangerous for anyone, even survival experts.
Every 20 minutes I gotta hydrate.
Still, he's hoping for the best for McLemore and his family.
I hope they find him, hope everything is okay.
Conference for us, so I'm going to step out of the way and let him get started on that.
Thank you all. Appreciate everyone coming. Just wanted to give everyone a brief update on what we've been doing out here today. As you know, we've been out here all day and through the night last night looking for specialist Kalen McLemore, soldier that went missing during one of his training exercises. We've searched all day today. We've covered a very large amount of area out there. As we mentioned earlier in our news conference, that the terrain and the area that we're covering is one of the worst that we've seen, you know, because of the mud, the woods, snakes, those kind of elements that we're having to battle. The heat has been a major. We've had a couple medical evacs that we had to do today and get the guys, you know, re-energized with IVs. But with that said, unfortunately, we haven't made contact with Kalen McLemore. So the search will continue. We're going to go through the night and into the day. We're not going to stop. So there's no stopping point and no restarting point. We're going to continue to search. We've got new personnel that is coming in that's gearing up as we speak. That's what the delay was. And they're gearing up, getting hydrated, getting all the supplies that they need, and they're going to be going out and working through the night. And then we'll get all the guys that we have right now, men and women that's been with us through the day, get them home and get them rested and get them back out here in the morning. So we've had air mounted units, as we mentioned. Like I said, though, unfortunately, we haven't made contact with Specialist Kalen McLemore. So if there's any questions, I'll take those real quick, but that's pretty much all the information that we have.
Can you elaborate on what they've found so far, though? You did find some items, correct?
We did find some items, excuse me, earlier, as far as when they went out, like we mentioned earlier in our news conference, that when the guys went out during their exercise, they're given some maps and some grid that they can use to mark their steps and different things. And we did find his located out there. So those were the areas that we've been concentrating on. But that area, like we mentioned earlier, it's so hard to get through that in that particular area, we haven't covered as much as we wanted to just because it's so hard getting through there. So those guys had to come out, and we've got new guys going into that area as we speak. That's really the area that we're going to be concentrating on tonight and this evening.
Now, his family, who I guess they have members in Memphis as well, his mother lives in Memphis, wants to come down and help. Is that something you're going to allow the family to help in this search?
That's strictly up to her. We do have someone assigned to the family from the sheriff's office, keeping her updated. She can reach out to that individual at any time, you know, moment's notice. Surely we wouldn't be able to tell her no that she can't come, but we're trying to do our best to keep her updated and just to alleviate as much stress as we can. But obviously you can imagine anybody that's gone through something like this, that's easier said than done in a situation like this.
We have a lot of heat, afternoon thunderstorms, weather working against us. How critical is timing right now in this search?
Like Director Barnes, the incident commander, said earlier, every minute that goes by is another critical minute that we've lost by not locating specialist Kayla McLemore. So it's a huge issue. The heat, as y'all know today, in the last couple of days, has been tremendous. So, you know, like we mentioned earlier, fortunately, we haven't found a canteen that's given to the members when they go out there. So we're trying to remain positive, that hoping that there's a reason that we haven't found that maybe he still has it with him, has been able to find some kind of shelter, maybe close to water, and is doing his best, you know, to survive out there in these conditions until we can locate him.
Now the water with the canteen and the MRE, how long is that supposed to last them during their training?
You know, as we know out here in Florida, it's extremely hot. You can get dehydrated extremely quick. You know, you can read in books and all those kind of things all day long that you can go 3 to 7 days without water and those kind of things, but it's extremely important that we get to him as quick as we can if there's going to be any kind of hopefully good closure to this and we can find him.
And just one more question for me. Those objects that were found earlier today, would any of them have allowed him to call for help if he needed it?
No, ma'am, unfortunately. I mean, there's, you know, wasn't like a cell phone or something like that. And from being back there, you know, over the last several days, the cell phone service isn't the greatest, you know, in those wooded areas. So even if he did have a cell phone on him or any kind of device, you know, who's to say that he would have had a signal on it that he could have used it? So
you're going to continue throughout the weekend until when he's found, and then you'll be updating us again soon?
Yes, sir. We're hoping to update y'all. If any new information comes out, we'll update y'all obviously as quick as we can. But our plan right now is to update y'all at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But if something changes, then obviously we'll update y'all sooner.
Sergeant, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time. Again, you guys just heard from the Clay County Sheriff's Office. They are going to continue their search efforts out here until that they find him. We also just learned that McLemore's parents want to come down and help assist with the search, which is totally up to them whether or not they want to do so. What we have discovered is that earlier, even though items were found, none of those would have allowed him to contact somebody if they need help. Obviously, the heat out here, it's been very hot today. We've had afternoon showers, and out there in that terrain, there are lots of holes, there are snakes. It's not as easy to navigate as you might think, and we will be at that press conference tomorrow. That is at 4 o'clock, and we will continue to keep you updated here on First Coast News. Reporting live in Clay County, Bethany Anderson, First Coast News, on your side.